So this is like one of those shows that, kind of like the car show where you at 55 miles an hour, you just said, man, what am I doing? But it turns out, what an awesome show it was. This has like been the most ADHD of the ADHD Rewired. Welcome to ADHD Rewired, episode 54. This is the show designed to help those of us who have really good intentions and a slightly wandering attention. My name is not Eric Tivers. I am not a licensed clinical social worker or a coach or a consultant for ADHD or anything else that you might find helpful. I am, however, Eric's guest today, and he has given me the esteemed pleasure of doing his full-on intro. So without further ado, the real host of the show, who is a licensed clinical social worker, coach, and consultant, Eric Tivers. Starting is the hardest part, so let's get started.
Well, thank you, Tom, for that lovely introduction.
I thought it was awesome.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. Go to audibletrial.com/ADHD Rewired. Check show notes for link. Get a Zoom room. Go to erictivers.com/Zoom. I use Zoom video conferencing for the ADHD Rewired coaching and accountability group. Zoom makes video conferencing fun and easy. Share your screen, collaborate with a whiteboard, record the audio and video. It's ADHD friendly. Go free or go pro, but go to erictivers.com/Zoom so they know that I sent you. That's erictivers.com/Zoom. Clearly, I have no plan here, and that's kind of how the show is going to go. So I interviewed someone earlier today, and right at the end of the interview, which was planning on being interviewed on Monday, he let me know that his book publisher that he's talking about his book about says he can't release or have any interviews until like the launch of his book.
Don't say his name.
Yep. And it's an awesome, actually, it's a really awesome interview. I can't wait for you to hear it in April. So I, figuring if Tom Nardone would be available, I know he'd be game. And I was hoping that his other half of, the Tom Nardone Show would be available. But Yvonne's sleeping. So Tom, what's up, man?
Nothing, man. How are you, Eric?
I'm hanging in there. I am, it's been kind of a drudgery of a month or so. I went on vacation, which I totally needed. And what I totally need is more vacation. I came back and I've just been having a really hard time getting myself motivated to do stuff.
And may I speak to that? I want to tell you, I can't tell you how encouraging it is to me to see you off your game. It makes me feel productive in a strange way to see you off your game.
Well, and there's been lots of times where I'm waiting until the end of the week to record my podcast episode, and the strangest thing happened this week. It was like Wednesday, and typically I don't wait to do an interview that's going to be released on Monday. Usually it's like at least a week or so ahead of time. So it was like Wednesday, and I realized I had nothing really ready to go for this episode. But the strange part about it was I didn't care. And I was like, oh, what the hell's going on? And so, I know that I struggle with seasonal affective disorder, and what I was talking, I told my wife, I was talking to her last night after I got home from work, because yesterday at work, I had something I have not had in about a year, and it was last March. I had a really fun panic attack.
A fun panic attack.
Where it's like, what the hell?
Not a common adjective.
Right. There was sarcasm in there, Tom.
Okay, it wasn't fun.
So the actions that I took, I went online and I was seeking out to see what's going to be the new therapist that I'm going to work with to get me through this hump. I love therapy. I really do. I've always been in therapy on and off throughout my life. I'm a big fan of it. That's why I do it as a living as well. And, you know, part of, I have no problem telling someone I'm going to therapy. Cause it's, you know, it's one more thing that I think that I can do to help decrease stigma around all kinds of things related to the brain. So that's kind of where I am at. So I've been here before. I'll get through it again. But you know, it's like I am, when I came back from vacation, the aha that I kind of had was I pushed myself too much. And I've been kind of talking about this a lot in the podcast, you know, as of late, just kind of feeling that I need that break. I guess I just don't know how to just be, you know, it's,
but you know, it really is sort of like an ADHD zen, when nothing's going right and nothing's getting done and you just don't care. I mean, that is like the zen, like ADHD zen. It's like you're in a some disorganized rock garden or something.
So, and it will keep in mind, we have no plan for the show at all. This is an unscripted conversation. Or, you know,
we are just creating audio to post so that Eric can have a podcast.
That's right.
And not miss a week.
Because God forbid I actually miss a week, because I am actually coming up on my 1 year anniversary of the launch of the podcast, which, you know, it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I am excited about that. I mean, intellectually I'm excited about that, but like emotionally I'm just like,
But let's look at this podcast and this particular episode. First off, I'm honored to be a part of it. Okay. But second is, you know, it's one thing when people hear a podcast because they know that there has been, well, they may know, but there's been planning, some kind of preparation, some kind of a direction. But maybe they wonder, what are these guys, you know, who are they really?
Right.
And what is it that they could actually do, you know, just off the cuff? So we have an opportunity to show them. And I'm pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. And you know, I'm hearing you find your video is delayed, so it's totally distracting. So it's like having two conversations at the same time. So Tom, I can't even look at you right now. So one thing I wanted to, so first of all, congratulations on the launch of your podcast. I am a fan of your podcast. I have not missed an episode.
Well, I do appreciate that very much. You know, Yvonne and I, when we started it, you know, Yvonne, I was pretty sure it would do okay just because my blog did well. But you know, I got to say, it was still some, well, yeah, but I mean, well, I'll tell you this. Okay, what I knew was that people would give it a shot. I knew that people would probably say, okay, well, I wonder, you know, I don't know, what does Tom sound like, or what, you know, what is he going to say? But every week, you know, I've got more and more downloads, and it's been just fantastic. And
are you still a new and noteworthy?
Huh?
Are you still a new and noteworthy?
Oh yeah, I think I got 2 more weeks, and right. I don't know how many.
8 weeks.
How much that's been adding, or how much help that's actually been to it. I mean, honestly, I never go to New and Noteworthy to look for a podcast ever. So I mean, I don't know how many other people do.
Well, it shows up in the top of iTunes. That's what the kind of the
yeah, and I think I've checked it 2 or 3 times to see if it's there. You know, and it's kind of
really?
Cool.
Only 2 or 3 times
a day.
Okay,
2 or 3 times a day.
Making sure that's, you know.
No, it hasn't been that bad, but no, I mean, I kind of just wonder about it. Matter of fact, I think we're at 15 episodes now, so
that's awesome, man. That's
yeah.
Do you have a regularity to it? It seems sort of like erratic, or it may just be when I notice it.
What do you mean erratic?
Like when do your episodes come out?
Well, they kind of were erratic, but for the past month, I think I've just been pretty regimented. I post at 3:30 a.m. and I post on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights. So that's like 2, you know, as far apart as I can get them, you know, a week apart, or two episodes a week. And then I think Yvonne and I were talking. I think we're going to go ahead and drop down to doing 1 episode a week. Yvonne is the producer, you know, so it's her job to come up with the show ideas, even though she's great. I mean, yeah, I don't want, one thing that I don't want people to think, you know, I mean, I'm my reputation for being a funny guy, or, you know, writing funny stuff, or entertaining people is, you know, well enough established, I think. And I don't mean to, well, I mean, yeah, I don't really mean to be tooting my own horn.
Like, who the hell is this guy?
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not above tooting my own horn. It's just that I don't happen to be doing it here. But Yvonne is absolutely as much a part of what makes that show successful as I am.
I would absolutely agree with that. And I think you guys are both awesome, but I think what's great about your show is that you two together is awesome.
Yeah, it truly, and I really hate this word, but it really is a synergy. When we get on there together, and
SIN synergy.
No,
I bet you like that.
It's SY, and
it is SY, but I'm saying for you, it's.
Oh, that is very good, Eric.
It took you a second, but
it took me a second to see what you did there. We might have to work that word into the show somehow. No, but I tell you, I really was worried that a couple of things. I worried that Yvonne would just, get tired of it and say, because see, the way it is now, I'm kind of ruined for blogging, for writing. And I probably am going to write another book, even though I say I won't. And I still say I won't, but I have to, in the back of my head, think, well, at some point I'm probably going to want to write another book.
I think you should write a children's book.
I got to tell you, Kim Trumbo's thing has really got me thinking about that. It would be, given my the kind of content that I have posted and the language I have chose for that content, it would be actually kind of I don't know, you love this word because you use it on every episode. Would it be a paradoxically
I do love
entertaining
that word.
book? True. I know you do. I love the word. I'm just not I think I kind of know what it means, and when I use it, sometimes I hope I used it right. But would that be a paradox for me to write, or perhaps an irony for me to write a children's book?
It would be, I think there's a better word for it, actually. Shel Silverstein, who wrote the Light in the Attic, Where the Sidewalk Ends, also wrote for Playboy. So there's kind of that too.
Yeah, but I think I could probably do it. I'm not saying I'm going to write a children's book. I think it would be along the lines of ADHD because for the kids, because a lot of my book will deal with that, as you'll see.
So one of the things I wanted to there was one episode of yours that I was listening to that I got to admit I was kind of yelling at my speakers.
Yelling at your speakers?
Yes.
Like, okay, before you tell me what episode, what do you when you say yelling? What I mean,
like I wanted to yell at you and call in and say no. I was actually thinking about recording something for you to play it for clarification. And actually, this happened more than once that I wanted to do this, but did I do it? No.
Hey, don't lose this thought. But I just had a thought as a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, this has probably never been done. A podcast of you listening to my podcast and your live commentary over the podcast.
Tom, you know what's awesome is I actually had that idea.
I believe you. I could tell. See, we're on video, and I could tell by your face expression. I believe you. So go ahead. So please finish your thought. I told you not to forget it, so it's not my fault that I went off on a tangent if you can't remember. That's the rules.
All right. There was two things.
All right.
I'll stick with the main one so I don't forget the other one. Your episode about laziness.
Okay.
Okay. So I get that you're trying to, in a sense, rebrand the word lazy. Right. I mean, is that?
I'm not really trying to rebrand it.
Right,
I'm trying to.
For people that haven't heard what your stance on this, give us the short kind of snapshot.
Put it on a bumper sticker?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. The thing is that, okay, I think this might be the part that you were yelling, if I'm not mistaken, because I gotta tell you, it was kind of a ballsy move I felt at the time. But okay, all my life, or prior to being diagnosed, or even now really, but I've been kind of viewed as lazy, okay, because I don't do anything and I didn't have time to look up the definition of the word lazy, okay, but, well, everybody knows what lazy means. Now, the thing is, a person is lazy or they're not lazy, period. They just are or they aren't. There are lazy people and there are people who aren't lazy. Now, I'm ADHD and a lot of ADHD people. Now, look, I'm sorry, but if you have laundry, it needs to be done, okay? You know it needs to be done, but you don't do it. Okay. And why don't you do it? Because you don't want to do it. Okay. To me, that is lazy. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that makes you a bad person, and I'm not even saying it's bad to be lazy. Lazy is just what you are. The fact that you have a legitimate reason for being lazy, which is your ADHD, and I said reason, not an excuse, but is the fact that am I getting warm to what? Because I can kind of see you're getting a little angry. So why don't go ahead, Eric? Go ahead, man. I think I made my point.
Okay, so I hear where you're coming from, except there's one difference between what is laziness versus ADHD.
Okay.
And that is what is your intention.
All right.
When you are thinking about doing something, you're actually exuding mental energy. But when you don't have I'm gonna get sciencey with you. I know you don't like all the science stuff. I know you promised not to talk about it on your show.
If you need science to make your point, I will indulge you. I'm listening with I got open ears here.
Okay, so imagine for a moment that you have a cup. Okay.
All right.
You can probably look around you and probably find one somewhere laying on the ground.
Matter of fact, yeah, here we go. I got a cup right here, and it's empty.
Okay. Now imagine that you have a thought, and the thought is that you need to do your laundry. Okay? So now imagine that you need to fill that cup with a certain neurotransmitter in order for the cup to actually be full to take the action. Okay, so you're filling it up, right? In order for that action to occur, that cup needs to get full.
Okay, so you're saying that neurotransmitter, let's just call that gravity. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Can we call it, is that fair? I just want to keep this simple so I can stay with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to insert.
Call it marbles. We're going to fill it with marbles. You need to fill the cup with marbles in order, and the thought, I need to do laundry, should fill the cup. Remember the game Mousetrap?
Nuggets. We'll fill it with nuggets.
Remember the game Mousetrap?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, where like one thing would activate another thing, and that would activate another thing, and no one ever actually knew how to play the game. You just set up the thing to make the mouse go and the trap fall. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Okay, right.
Okay.
I do.
Okay, so a thought should create a response like that in our brain that actually makes us move to the behavior. Okay? What happens is we have the thought regarding, I got to do laundry. Except our cup only gets 70% full, which is not enough to trigger the action.
Not enough gravity to cause the marbles.
So it's sitting in there like dead weight. So we're thinking about it. It's weighing on us like very shamefully, right? But it's not triggering the action. So there's one piece of it. The other piece of it we know through group study. So when scientists study, epidemiological studies, when they look at the brain and the brain in action, okay, we could see how the brain works, right? And we know when we compare adults with ADHD and those without ADHD, that having to do simple cognitive tasks, things that just require basic thinking, actually requires a large amount of mental energy. You see on these brain scans a lot of stuff lighting up in the brain. That shouldn't happen for simple stuff. So in fact, not only are people with ADHD not lazy, they're actually working harder than the non-ADHD person, but not getting anything in result for it. Okay? Because they have to use emotional centers of their brain to activate behaviors in order to get themselves in gear to do simple things. Okay? Here's what laziness is, because I was lazy last week. I laid outside by the beach, or by the beach or the pool. It's the choice of inactivity. That's what the main difference is. So laziness is a choice, because if you're trying to rebrand, retake the word, we've seen this in different cultures.
I agree. I think we're probably more in agreement than you might think. I get what you're saying. It is a choice. I'm not suggesting that. Look, I get up and go to work every day. I choose to. Mm-hmm. I choose to get up and go to work every day. I don't want to go. I really don't want to go, but I choose to because, it's this, having a house and a wife and kids. It's a bigger picture. I choose that. but it's the things that don't have to happen. I always choose not to, because the reason I choose not to do them is because I don't want to do them.
Right. So here's the thing, Tom. Now I'm going to tell you something that you might not agree with.
Okay.
But it's just what it is, and it's my show, so I call the shots.
But okay.
You are not lazy.
I know that I'm not lazy,
because I'm looking behind you, and I'm seeing this whole studio and desk that you build. That takes a lot of effort. You launched a podcast. You got 15 episodes. That takes a lot of effort. Published a book. So here's the one thing, Tom, and here's why I think people should listen to your show. What's the best way to say it? It's, you really stand for acceptance. And if there's one thing that I think you do so just artfully, because it's funny, it's just matter of fact, you're not making any excuses about it. You accept who you are. So, I mean, and there's so much power to that. So you're, in a sense, you not doing the laundry, that actually is a choice for you. You just say, I don't care. Right? Where most people, when they say, I got laundry to do, and they're not doing it, they are told they're lazy, they believe they're lazy, and it's this horribly shameful process. You truly, genuinely don't care. And
just an indifference toward life. I mean, I get what Eric, I'm just joking. I completely get what you're saying. And you're probably right. And acceptance is probably, if there was I suppose there is, the underlying theme to most of what I have ever done is acceptance. And, I accept myself. I don't expect others to. I don't have a need any longer. Certainly my wife and my inner circle of friends, but they, I was the person I am when they met me. They like me, so or love me, whatever. So, and even some of my favorite fans, who have been with me since the first thing I ever wrote. I mean, those are people they know who I am, and if you can read the first thing I ever wrote and something I wrote today, and while I have learned a lot, my attitude about all of this is still the same. And you're looking at my studio here, but what you can't really see out of focus is this, the fact that my room isn't clean. I knew we were doing a podcast.
I've seen it worse, Tom.
Yeah, and I've posted it, and I've never. Matter of fact, I did the interview with Sean Ackerman, and he said Skype, and I figured it was going to be video anyway. And honestly, it looked worse than this. I made no effort to clean it up. I mean, I don't care.
Sean's a great guy.
Oh, he is a fantastic human being. I thoroughly love talking with him, and I think that show's going to air this month. It's a pretty exciting month for us because this show is going to be on Monday, and Yvonne got a call from. Jeff Copper calls the house and asked to talk to Yvonne. Jeff Copper's huge. He's great. You had him on the show not that long ago. His show was fantastic. Yeah. And actually, he sounded so great on your show. Not fidelity. I'm talking about it was so fun to listen to him on your show.
I thought he was. One of the things that I think why it sounded so good. We had a very short amount of time, so we were both really focused. Like we knew that we had less time than because there were some technology problems in the beginning.
Right. Yeah, there was. I do remember that. I remember, man, Eric's got to be cringing. I remember Eric's got to be hating every little pop and little digitized when the sound does its thing. But I thought every time I hear any kind of audio discrepancy in your show,
last week's episode with
it wasn't. No, that's the one I'm thinking of. It wasn't Jeff Copper's. It was that other one because I'm like, man, Eric.
Eric, I almost didn't release it.
I know, because you're the reason I didn't go with Blog Talk, because I really had just figured that's what I was going to do and do the live show. But I got to tell you, I'm so glad that because see, the thing is, the difference between what we do and going on with Blog Talk is that's a live show, which that encompasses a whole nother arena of responsibility. And it's not just our responsibility to be here at this time with everything working. Honestly, what you don't hear on all the podcasts that Yvonne and I do is the lesser of the time, because the most of the time is spent getting the microphone set and all that crap. And okay, do we sound good? Well, let's listen. Okay, well, this is okay. It was just a bunch of nonsense. And we have been taping like the whole not all of them, but a bunch of episodes we've been taped. I put the laptop across the room, and so we have a shot of us at the studio doing our thing, recording it on Zoom, and it's been a lot of fun. I haven't even, matter of fact, one of them we got in a fight, and I actually threw something across the desk. I mean, but it's not like we got in a big fight. It was just I did it. It really scared Yvonne when I did it, and I felt awful for doing it. And I apologize, and our whole little apologies on the thing, but no one's ever going to see that. But I'm just saying, I thought what our idea was to have some kind of a video highlight reel, of like behind the scenes, should the show ever get big, like real big. But I had no idea how we got to this part of what we were talking about. No idea. Some neuro something. No, I think we passed that. But no,
laziness.
Back to laziness, man. I'm not lazy. You're
audio.
Correct. It only occurred to me a few weeks ago that I'm not lazy. Okay. Because I don't come home like okay, tonight my only intention was to come home, eat, spend a little time with Yvonne. I knew she was going to be going to bed pretty soon, and I was just going to lay down and continue my Borgia's marathon that I've been doing on Netflix. Okay, and then I get this message from you and says Eric needs to do a podcast. I'm like, oh man, impromptu, no preparation, man, I am on board. I mean, that's no rules.
That's our bread and butter right there.
Yeah. So that sounds exciting. So I'm really excited that we got to do this. But normally that's not the case. I've got to get a show set up, or write a little, do this. Or, I mean, I've always, or maybe there's some people that have asked for my help on one thing or another, be it technical or their own lives. Because believe it or not, people do confide in me and ask for my advice on things. And it's not usually how to be more. I tell you, my favorite intro that we did was the one where Jeff Copper did the bumper, where I started out the show, and I think I said, we're going to do something a little different today, Yvonne. I said, we are going to give you seven
tips or something.
Yeah.
I busted out laughing. I knew right away that you're full of it, and I thought it was great.
Yeah. But it was like, then it's like, yeah, I was right. And it's like, but yeah. And I didn't tell Yvonne what I was going to say, because, I'll tell you how that works. The things that I say at the beginning of the show, we get everything set up, and I'll tell Yvonne, okay, hold on a minute. Just give me a minute. And Yvonne is very patient. She's always patient. So, whatever I say in the very beginning of the show, I just wrote that down. So I said, oh, yeah, this is going to mess with Yvonne a little bit. And Yvonne's, I started laughing, and then Yvonne started laughing. And that was just an awesome intro. And it was and I didn't even put it together that, oh, my God, that was Jeff Copper's intro. It's like the worst shows. I mean, not the worst shows, but the most, I don't know what the right word is, but it's like for Alan Brown's bumper, I did the one on laziness, and then for Jeff's, I did the one on the fake concern or trying to help people thing. But I don't really go out, and don't get me wrong. I mean, what you do, I don't downplay myself at all. I don't take it this way. I know that I believe what I do is important, and I enjoy what I do. And now me and Yvonne enjoy it. And that's my life is so much, my public life in as far as podcasting is so much bigger and greater and more alive than it ever was with blogging. And it's because of Yvonne. It's such a big part of it. It's like a sleeping giant was there the whole time that could have been there to help me be, so much more. And now I just realized it. And it's like, now we're doing it together.
What's so awesome is And I think I was talking to somebody else about this, about your show. It's like we're sitting in this conversation that it kind of feels like we shouldn't be listening to.
Yeah, well,
and it's awesome.
And we only have one rule, and that's there's just no talk about sex or our sex lives. That stays where it is, and that's never going to ever be. But that's about it. Other than that, it's, everything's matter of fact. I'll tell you, I'll give you a little sneak preview. I thought one thing that Yvonne and I do is like Yvonne say, hey, let's just hang out and watch a movie together. Well, man, that's tough because it's not the watching the movie part. That's hell. You just sit there and let your eyes glaze over and watch a movie, right? And it sucks. And you say, oh, that sucked. And you go to bed. Okay, whatever. It's the whole figuring out what movie to watch on Netflix. And
I totally agree.
I got my little hand recorder and I took it downstairs in her room and recorded us going through the Netflix queue, vetoing all these different movies for the stupidest reasons. Like, nope, it's PG-13, or nope, it's got 2 stars. Nope, it's 2 stars and PG-13. Oh my God. And is it British? are there subtitles? I mean, just different things like that. And for whatever, I mean, and then Yvonne, finally we pick a movie and Yvonne says, but if it's got, real witches in it or something, I don't want to watch it. And the movie turned out it was Salem. The movie was called Salem. And so we come back on, I hit the recorder back on and say, oh yeah, well, the movie was called Salem. Who knew it would have witches in it, and that kind of thing. So that show, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with that one, because that is not itself a show. But I think what I'm going to do is sort of narrate it and talk about it, or maybe we'll both kind of narrate it as we talk about it. And then we will put that into a where we'll kind of commentate it, and we'll just kind of break in and out and kind of explain what's happening, we're going to have some fun with that show. And we may even want to record a few more Netflix sessions, but that's something that's going to be a big deal for me, because that's one I'm particularly excited about right now. But actually what I was getting to is, I don't lessen what I think. What I do is important, and I'm happy and proud to do what I do, and I do something no one else does. Okay. But man, Eric, people like you and Kim Trumbo from Generosity Philosophy. I mean, you guys, I have the utmost respect for you guys, because it's a lot more. We do a fun show that entertain people, man. But what you guys do help people, and it inspires people in different ways than what I do.
But Tom, humor heals, though, so don't downplay what you're doing.
I'm not at all. I'm not at all. But I'm just saying, I don't talk, and I appreciate and I get the joking around about, let me just give you a little bit of science, so you sort of fakingly backed into that, which was funny. But it's not. I do realize not everything is a joke. I mean, like Kim, people that don't know Kim, right, but listen to her show, don't realize how fun of a human being she is. I think. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, her show is great, and she's very professional, and I know the content on a lot of her shows is not something that's a fun thing all the time, because a lot of there's people in need that have problems, but she is such a fun human being. I mean, and
doesn't she just make you want to be a better person?
I gotta say, there's been a couple of times that at work or that's I'm thinking, like, I had an opportunity to do something or not do it, and I just went ahead and did it because it was a nice thing, because like I was wearing my on Kim's birthday, I sent her a picture of my generosity. I wore my Generosity Philosophy shirt to work, and boy, she got a huge kick out of that. And just because it was her day, and because I was wearing that shirt, it's like I was representing. So I was just a little bit nicer to everybody. You know what I mean? So it's amazing.
She did, like, I remember when she was launching her crowdfunding campaign to illustrate her book, and typically, so I helped her out and really try to promote stuff in the community group to get her book illustration funded. And I was kind of reflecting on that, because usually that would be something that I would think about doing, but then would never actually do.
Yeah.
So it's like, that idea of just that kindness towards other, going above and beyond to help someone out. It's, call it karma, whatever you want it to do. It motivated me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and not a lot of podcasts have had any real effect on me in my life. I mean, I listen to them. It's interesting, whatever. That's, boy, Kim ought to be on this podcast. we go ahead and Skype her in. No, but boy, she
we don't do Skype here, Tom. We're on Zoom, because Zoom's now a sponsor.
Oh, well, I'm just saying those other people that use Skype. Skype.
And since we're talking about Zoom, do you remember my URL link? Because I would love to not have to go back and
let me give it to everybody. For those of you that don't know, please go to www.erictivers.com/Zoom.
Cool. Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Okay.
I'm sure of it. I do listen to your podcast, and I thought it was so cool that you got them as a sponsor, because we kind of talk. I don't know if was it on the. I did not. I'll be honest. I didn't listen to the 50th anniversary podcast because I was in the whole thing. I mean, I already heard it all. Yeah. I listened to bits and pieces of it, but it seemed like during that podcast or some other Zoom thing, we talked about Zoom being one of your sponsors. I'm sure that that came up during one of our Zoom meetings.
Well, I want, they're still, like, I don't think they're still totally get the whole podcasting realm, because that's like a redirect for like an affiliate link. So it's kind of like the blog style type of like affiliate sponsorship. But they'll get it because I just think they're awesome, and they'll start seeing them. I'm sending them referrals, and I just think it's a great service. So
yeah, but
get a Zoom room.
The one thing I don't want people thinking that I have any issue with, that I just label every site that's or every podcast that does talk about, ADHD as a, look, if I was the only, voice of ADHD, man,
God help us,
man, I'm serious. It would be bad. We'd be like
that's the thing too. There's so many different flavors of ADHD.
It's like a hate crime to say anything against us because that's how bad we would be. It'd be like a hate crime if you said anything about ADHD because we'd be such a downtrodden society of people that do nothing but and felt great about it.
You know how you're talking about like having it where I'm listening to an episode and give commentary over it,
right?
What if if you and so here's an idea. You and Yvonne are doing your show, and I'm there, with you, and every so often I'm going to chime in to like just I can maybe settle a dispute, or it can be like counseling, it can be like marital counseling.
Yeah, actually, that is something that Yvonne what Yvonne and I talked about was what might be funny is for us to have some of these arguments and have an ADHD coach. We weren't talking about anybody specifically. Obviously, you're going to be a part of that. But we would have an ADHD coach that was in there. And then after we, go through one point, then the ADHD coach or even a marriage counselor. It doesn't matter who it was.
We need a panel. We need like 3 people.
Yeah, a panel.
And we can vote on it.
That's a lot of moving parts, and
sure.
I'm not saying it's something we could do a lot, but definitely for some like a 50th episode kind of thing, or a 1 year, or even just an every now and then, get it organized. We'll get Jeff Copper on Zoom and Alan Brand. We'll get some known people on the show to just hash it out. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun. Yeah,
that would be. Now, you were talking earlier, you had 2 points. You said you wanted to bring this one up so you wouldn't forget the other one. Have you?
It's way gone. Way up.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It was one thing it was about my show. You had 2 issues. One of which was the lazy one.
I remembered. So,
okay.
Now I remembered because I was in the shower. I don't know why that even correlates, but I just maybe the sensory part of being in the shower, you're really paying attention to.
You were listening to me while in the shower.
Yep, I was listening to you while in the shower.
I love hearing the stories about where people are when they're listening to the show. Like when Kim Trumbo always tells me what she was doing while she was listening. She's like washing her car, and when she was listening. Go ahead, I'm sorry. So you're in the shower.
So I was in the shower.
Completely nude.
Yep.
Okay.
Because that's how I shower. And you said something about I think it was 15% of people have ADHD.
I said that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't say that. Everybody else says that. I'm not so sure about that. I actually said...
Right. So I was like, no, Tom, that is not correct. So the CDC would say it's somewhere between the wider margin is between 4 to 9%. Probably more accurately is 4 to 7% of the population.
Okay, now I'm in a complete agreement with that. I don't believe for a minute that it's 15% of the people, but I hear that everywhere. It's 15% of adults. I don't buy it. I don't buy that it's 15% of the people, not for a second.
And here's what I think that people are getting confused about. That 85% of people who have ADHD right now don't know it. So that's the 15% of people. So I think people have confused that. So it's not that 15% of people have ADHD. It's that only 15% of people who have ADHD actually know it.
Okay, and so if you think of the episode, let me know because I want to listen. I'm not doubting you, but if I did say that, I want to retract that because I have never been. I might have just said it, in passing because that's what seems to be. I think it was the episode
ADHD or butthole.
Oh, okay. All right. That's that wasn't what it was called, but
right.
But for the purposes of this show, that's what we'll call it.
It's because it's just more work to add an explicit.
I get it. I get it. So, yeah, I'll take a look at that show, and I want to listen to what I said. But I've never believed it was 15%. I've heard that, and I've not believed it, and I've actually argued with other people about it. So, if I said that, thank you for bringing it to my attention, because I don't believe that. I don't believe it for a second. I mean, the world would be far too interesting if that were the case. I mean, that's all I can think of. That.
And you're the guy that lays on the horn.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, you're a jerk.
Yes, I am. No, and I did the Tom Nardone's Museum of A-holes, at one of my blogs, and I actually pointed, and I give the different types of A-holes while I'm driving. The guy with the stereo on too loud. And and I said, now there's also the guy who is, driving the speed limit on the interstate and doesn't care what lane he's in. And you have to, okay, that's me. That's my spot. I don't care. So yeah, I'm fine. And I'm impatient when I drive. I am. When I'm on the road, nothing to do with this stranger's life in front of me should impact anything I have to do. His mere presence there, I find absolutely unacceptable, but I will go ahead and realize that it is a free country, unfortunately, in some ways. In some ways, it's unfortunate that he can be there, that these people, because they wanted to go see a movie, it's going to now take me an extra 10 minutes that I will never get back just to get home. Now, that's just life.
Speaking of getting home and nakedness...
Okay.
Was this also the episode that you talked about how you went on quite a long distance drive naked?
Did I talk about that on the podcast? I know I blogged about
I totally had those kind of experiences where someone brings something up and I'm like, did I actually say that on the podcast?
No, I mean, I know it. I know.
Yeah, you did, because Tom, I don't read your blog.
Great. Well, that's you what? You what? You don't read my blog? That's fine. I know.
I maybe have read one. I don't read blogs.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as I love Jeff Copper, I do, but I know that he doesn't read. I'm not going to send him a book.
Right.
I mean, if he wants to buy it, great, and I'll sign it, whatever. I know he's not going to read it, and it's fine because it's just not his thing, and I get it, man. I have trouble reading myself. Somebody asked me to read their book, and I bought it for $2 on Amazon, but I couldn't read it. I couldn't keep the characters straight, and I'm saying, hey, I'm really sorry. Thanks for reading the thousands of words in my blog over the years, but I just can't read your book.
It's not personal.
Yeah, it really wasn't. So. Yeah. But I get it. I don't know. Do you even have a? You have a? I mean,
you don't have a blog. I sort of have a blog.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know if you had one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a blog. It's like an attempt of a blog that has I think I have 10 or 12 posts of stuff that it's awful. There's probably still typos in it.
Yeah. Dead air. This is dead air.
So, what we can do? We can do some mindfulness-based meditation and see how long people can actually sit comfortably with complete silence.
This is the quiet meditation point of the show.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some silence, and then I'm gonna tell you how long that silence was. But when I start talking, I want you to think about how long it was. So
and Chris, make sure you edit all this crap out before it goes. No, don't. I was just saying, don't listen to me. Listen to Eric. You don't.
Okay, so you ready?
Yeah.
So how long can we, as listeners and me and you, deal with the uncomfortable silence?
All right.
There we go.
Please talk. Please say something. Read the phone book.
So you're struggling there, started at 12 seconds. So if you were able to cope, you were able to do that for 12 seconds. I know it maybe seemed like 5 minutes, or not.
Oh, it didn't seem like 5 minutes, but I just have to. I can't. Now when you go to sleep at night, do you sleep in silence?
No.
Now see.
I listen to the podcast falling asleep.
Now, what if it's say it was a podcast like mine?
I can't.
Okay, so I couldn't be a sleep podcast.
No, you were not a sleep podcast.
But you know what? I can't. Her last name escapes me in the group. Lisa Feinberg.
Yeah.
Okay. It was one of the greatest compliments, and I'll explain why I felt this was such a great compliment. But one of the greatest compliments she ever gave me was that she said that her husband Richard, or her boyfriend Richard, asked her, he was going to lay down and take a nap, and he said to her, Lisa, would you mind doing me a favor and just put the Tom Nardone Show on for me so I can go to sleep? I thought that was like the coolest compliment ever. Now here's why. Okay, like, if there's a series that I have seen a million times, okay, like the Andy Griffith Show or 24, or not so much sitcoms anymore, but like currently my I have like a go to sleep audio.
Yeah, I got a few.
Okay, and I like to listen to episodes of Sons of Anarchy, or right now I'm listening to the House of Cards on Netflix as I go to sleep. So what I'll do is I'll cue it up and I'll just turn my TV off and just let the stereo play the audio. And as I go to sleep, I'll listen to these TV shows. But the only reason I can do that is because I've seen them so much. You know, I don't have necessarily an interest of, what is this person going to say? It's got to be something like I could probably listen to my own show, if by going to sleep, because I've already heard it 1,000 times. No, I don't.
You never have. Come on, Tom.
No, I do. No, I do listen. But you know what I find? I listen to my shows like when they come out, like when everybody else. I don't listen to them right away. Yvonne always wants to sit here and listen to the show like right after we recorded it. It's like, Yvonne, we just did the show. I told you it was a great show. I promise it's a great show. Well, I want to hear it. So it's like we're in limbo. I got to sit here and wait 30 minutes while this show plays, and we almost always nail it on the first take without any editing. Almost always that happens, and it's just a pain in the ass. Crap! I said, edit that out, Chris. I didn't mean to say that, but anyway.
His name is Richard. And the funny thing was, I didn't even catch it. I was like, "What do you talk? What?"
But no, Yvonne will do that. But
put a beep over it or something.
Yeah, lately we haven't been doing that. It's been more or less, I'll just listen to it in my car. I'll download it and I'll just listen to it in my car the next day at work or whenever it comes out, whenever it publishes, because I said, but that's pretty much it. But I do find myself listening to the intros, just kind of like when I'm on break, I might just want to listen to the intros. I just love the intros. That's it's like one of the most creative parts of the show. And it's just, I always try to do an exciting intro that I don't want to start my show. I mean, I love the music that, the show, but I always like to have some kind of a, thing with the intro, something like, I think Real Giles, did that show air yet? Yeah, it did. When Real Giles was
I think so.
She did. Yeah, because she, now one thing Real did, Real Giles I'll go ahead and give her a plug. She's the superaddmom.com. You should have her on the show, Eric. She is amazing. She actually said,
Tom, we talked about her being on the show. I don't know what. I don't know.
Yeah,
real contact.
You would love to have her. I'll tell you. One day she says, "Tom," we were chatting on Facebook. She goes, "Hey, I'll be back in about an hour. I got some work around the house I got to do." She lives in Canada or Alaska, some cold place up north, and she's out there chopping firewood. That's her work that she had to do around. She is
Wow.
amazing human. Yeah, I know. So she's a very exciting lady. But anyway, but she did the show, and one funny thing that she did, and one of my favorite bumpers to date, actually Kim Trumbo just sent me my favorite one, and you'll be on our next show that comes out, you'll be hearing that one. But Real Giles, she gave her little bumper, right? And then she paused, and then she says, "Hi, Yvonne," So
yes.
She basically, like Yvonne always interrupts me during the intro, and that's kind of our little thing. But Real just sort of added that into the mix, and of course I kind of chastise her a little bit for that, and that was kind of fun. I just like doing something different with the way the show comes on, and I hope, but no one's ever really commented on the intros, I guess, because it's beginning of the show, and it's more or less they're wrapped up with what the show was rather than how it began.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and I like one of my favorite ones is when I had Zeus introduce the show. I love that one. This is the almighty Zeus.
No, I think there was a while in my show when I was doing my own editing when I would at the very end of the show I would slice up something that the person actually didn't say, and it would kind of make them say something funny.
That's a lot of work.
Oh, it was so.
That's a lot of work.
I think it was the one with Ari Tuckman that I did. That I am like I was working for 2 hours and I was sitting in my chair doing this and I was just cracking myself up the whole time and I was like, this is such a waste of time and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Did you hear that? Do you remember that one?
Huh? I didn't. Actually, how long ago was that?
Oh, he was actually one of my first interviews. I think it was like episode 17 or 18.
I have caught every one of your shows since. I know the first one I ever listened to was it seemed like it was I don't know that it was you on the podcast mostly. I think it was somebody else, or maybe you were reading a letter from.
Yes, the one with James.
I did listen to that one, and then I sort of didn't listen to anything, and I think it was sometime very, very shortly before I was on the show. And I think when I came in the group, that really, I'll be honest with you, man. At first, I listened to your show because I just respected and liked you as a person. I didn't really care to listen to it.
But you hated it. You thought it sucked.
No. Not at all. But it just...
There was too many tips and strategies. You were afraid the productivity stuff was going to rub off on you.
I didn't have a podcast, and I just didn't really listen to podcasts. I just never bothered. And then I don't know, man. I started listening to them, and as a host, I just think that you are amazing, and it's just so great to hear, the way you connect so personally with your guests sometimes, and I mean, there's some hosts, and we've talked about it, and I won't mention a name, but that it's like their enthusiasm is so artificial or out of a can, but yours seems so genuine. And I believe, now that I know you, I know that it is. And I mean, you're a beautiful person, and it's so great to hear you talk to these people, because it's like, man, this, Eric really does care about these people, man. And and what they have to say. And, it really makes me, even the people who are predominantly science or diagnosis kind of, it kind of it has taught me, because, listening to you, and I know you as a fun person, but that has helped me to be a little more open to listen to some things that I might not have otherwise listened. So, I mean, as a host, you have just, your abilities as a host have had such a profound effect on my attitude towards ADHD in general, man. And I'm being very sincere about that. I mean, I'm already on your show, so it's not like there's no reason for me to, I'm here.
I don't know how good the lighting is, but I know that I am blushing right now.
Well, I can see you are, and it's okay. I just wipe it, don't cry. I won't tell anybody if you do.
I don't care. I
can edit it out.
I'm a crier. Let's see. I did want to say that. So at first, on one of your shows, there was something that you were trying to convince Yvonne about. I was like, really? But your points were really good, and it was about your big garbage can. Oh
yes, now
I kind of agree with you.
I mean, really. I mean, the thing is, why worry about something that's never going to happen? The garbage. I mean, look, a bigger garbage can is just going to last longer. So if it takes somebody a month before they get the garbage downstairs, I mean, a bigger garbage can means less garbage on the floor. I mean, why don't you just give me a 5-gallon waste basket and it'll look like Sanford and Son in here? I mean, what do you want? I mean, I'm still, and look, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've got all I'm going to get a big garbage can, and I'm just going to put it up here, and I'm not going to say anything until Yvonne comes up here to the studio with the microphones already on, and she's going to just walk into this, and that's just going to get the whole thing cranked up.
Can you decorate it? Like make it look like something? Like
right,
like R2D2 or something?
Yeah, you know what? Probably the only thing Yvonne loves plants and stuff like that. So probably the only thing I would ever get by with it. I'm sure if I wanted this special, rare plant, she would say, well, if it needs a garbage can, then it needs a garbage can. I mean, for heaven's sakes, man. I mean, I got guitars and amps and stuff all over my room. I mean, I think a aluminum, silver, steel garbage can would be very metal. Look awesome up here.
I think you should actually get a small dumpster.
Yeah. All right, hey, you know what? Let's do this, man. Let's have this be the shout out portion of the show. Let's talk about the awesome people in our community. I mean, besides you and me,
It's a great idea, Tom.
we've established our own awesomeness already.
It is well defined and established.
We've talked a lot about ourselves, Eric, and us and Kim Trumbo. But who are some of the people out there that maybe even the unsung people who don't get a lot of notoriety? You know, people
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog, but he's not a real person. Okay, I mentioned Real Giles. She is awesome.
Have you ever heard my Kermit the Frog impression?
I think I would remember. Let's have it. Hold on. What are you going to say? You going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
No, I just have a one-liner. Kermit the Frog here.
You know, I got to say, that was a little better than I was expecting now.
That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Now here's somebody that I think I'm pretty sure you know, Deb Rowley.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
I don't know who she is.
Yeah, she
I'm totally kidding. I'm pretty good friends with her. And I know she'll never listen to this because she tells me she can't listen to more than 5 minutes of audio. So I could say anything I want about Deb right now and she would have no idea.
Hey, yeah, let's talk.
What I'm totally going to enjoy is actually telling her that you and I talked about her in detail on the show.
That's right. And she runs Madison
Coaching
and Therapy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Real is a fantastic human being. I know more. I mean, we talk more personally than I really know about what she does. But I'll tell you one thing, Deb really does share a lot of people's stuff. And I think that's a really cool thing because there's not really enough of that on Facebook. And I'm as guilty as the rest of them. I mean, there's, I think I have an expectation of people to share my stuff because I'm awesome. But I really don't share enough of things that other people do. And I have been a lot better about that here lately.
Yes, Deb has successfully made me feel really bad about my lack of sharing other people's stuff.
But she'll never know because she won't
That's
listen.
right. It's absolutely
and Deb,
right.
we're way into the show, so we're not even going to tell you when it is. We're just going to say at some point. At some point, Deb, we talked about you on the show.
And she told me that she has clients that tell her that she was mentioned on the show.
That's right. Well, hey, maybe her clients will do the work for us. So we're just on record. Deb is awesome.
Yes, she is.
There it is.
Amazing.
Yes.
She's a good friend. I can't talk. So I went to Facebook and I'm like, what am I trying to do right now? I can't even
You're looking for awesomeness.
I'm looking for awesomeness. Okay, so I want to out myself about something.
Okay.
Because I want to give an awesome shout out.
Okay.
So Carolyn, who does she's my Audible. What's that?
Carolyn DiArgento?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to out. I actually never knew how to pronounce her last name, so I never said it. So can you say it again for me? That's what I was going to out myself about. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
I just sort of said it really quickly in passing and didn't make a big deal about it.
The equivalent of not knowing how to spell something, so you write it in cursive?
Yeah, kind of like that. Or you say it really quick if you don't know how to pronounce it. But it's,
D'Argenio?
Carolyn DiArgenio.
DiArgenio?
Or I wonder if it's like one of them silent D's.
Argenio?
Or is D her middle?
D'Argenio?
I don't. Wow. Okay, well, you know what? It's Carolyn, CAROLYN, capital D apostrophe ARGENIO.
Who, besides from being honestly a brilliant mind, I've been talking with her a lot lately, and we've been actually talking about possibly collaborating on something. I'm not going to talk about anything further than that at this point.
Okay.
But she's a bottle full of awesome sauce. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, let me just tell you, I could not agree more. She actually, it will. Unfortunately, my editor said it would be if I got somebody else to write this, it would be an uncredited entry. But anybody who does end up buying my book, if you should read the about the author section of it, that has been written by none other than Carolyn DiArgenio, if I am saying her name correctly. She was kind enough. She actually researched, Googled Tom Nardone, spent a good part of the day coming up with one for the ebook and one for the real book. and she wrote the about the author section of my my book, and I could not have been happier with it. She made me seem like a rock star, which, while that's probably not too hard, she did a fantastic job.
I think you shared with me what she wrote. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks, Carolyn.
Do you think we should tell her ahead of time or just let her be surprised?
Let's see if she really listens to the show. Well, if we don't hear from her by Thursday, then we'll maybe say something. We'll guilt her into
I got another awesome shout out.
Okay.
Ozzy du Soleil.
I love. Hey, that is one of my favorite. Of course, every bumper is one of my favorites. But man, Oz's bumper for my show when he said clothing is optional. I thought I was going to die. And he sent me.
Did you see his stand up? The thing that he did, that video.
I've been meaning to. I've watched a lot of his videos.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
And, I think I'm really hoping that. Oz is. And he's very focused, and I wouldn't want to pull him away. He's on his. But I can really see if there's anybody who I can see taking anything technical and bringing it over to the ADHD side of things. I think Oz is, and I really Oz and I have talked a lot on Zoom.
Well, I want to actually thank. I had an accounting issue that I had to deal with. My accountant needed all of my purchases for my business from Amazon, and there were a couple of things that got mixed up between my personal stuff, and so you can export the whole year of purchases, but it's in this big data mess. So he hopped on Zoom with me, did a screen share, and made this look brilliantly just make sense in like 10 minutes. And he
is the real deal, man.
Oh my gosh, he actually makes me want to learn Excel. Like I used to be afraid of Excel.
Yeah, he is a fantastic human being.
And wickedly funny, and
he is funny. And I've been meaning to look at some of his stand-up. I don't know that it seemed like I saw him on some Facebook page that he might have shared, or somehow
you'll have to personally ask him to share the links. I know it's a private thing. He doesn't want out there.
Okay, well, good. I will then. I'm sure he'll send it to me. Yeah, because he and I have had several conversations on Zoom offline with regard to he had a real interest in and he's actually mentioned about being on the show, and I'm so going to have Oz on the show. But I'm going to tell you know why let me go ahead and make a confession in the middle of our shout out session.
Yeah.
Why Yvonne and I haven't had any guests on is because I had a guest and I screwed up the audio because it was pretty early on. Okay. But then we nailed the audio. Okay. And then that same day, for whatever reason, I was monkeying around with my computer. I pulled the hard drive cable out of my hard drive while it was running on accident, and it just zapped it. So I lost the second interview, the whole thing. So I don't really, and I was really excited about, Gina being, the Extreme Mom. That's the extrememom.net is her site. But I was really excited about her being my first guest. And it didn't work out. So now if I have a guest, it's like, so that's where I am. I gotta face Gina and tell her what happened. And that's been this really big block in the show. But right now we got plenty of content that we're doing. So it's really not an issue yet, but it's been something that's bothered me. So, I feel better now. I got that off my chest. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for letting me say that.
You got it. I had no idea what you just said. I was scrolling through Facebook.
That's all right. It was more for just me to say. Really need to listen. I have no expectation of you to be interested in what I say.
We should give a shout out to Precious.
Precious, man, that was a great show. I was kind of not going to listen to that show I didn't really know her as a person then, and I think it was pretty early on in her entry into the group, wasn't it? Yeah. And I'm like, but I guess I got to know her a little bit through the group, and I listened to the show, and I was blown away, man. What a great show that was, man. That was fantastic, especially the last half of it.
And she's a great contributor to the community group too.
Yeah, her and I can't think of the names, but yeah, she's definitely she's she's usually the first one to comment on stuff. Mm-hmm. She's a pretty cool girl.
Let's see who else, and I'm trying to think of who I know would be okay with their names being said. So I think so far we've stuck with past guests, which is pretty safe to assume their names are okay with being said.
Yeah. We already gave Kim enough airtime.
We gotta stop being so generous with her.
Yeah, I think we were a little overly generous with her, but I suppose that we couldn't be overly generous with a better person, and that's all. No more Kim Trumbo for this show. We got.
There was a going back to Oz. I think there's something in the. It was actually when he posted, I think, about the video, because he did this stand up thing. They had some kind of sexual stuff that was sexual in nature. And, it was so interesting how this, I think in any other Facebook group, this would have turned into like a crap throwing match. Like, everyone was so respectful in this conversation that could have gone very south very quickly.
You talking about when Oz was on the show?
No. There was a thread in the Facebook group.
Oh, I don't know if I saw that one, or may not. Anyway, don't bring it up if you don't want. You can tell me about it later. But I'm not sure exactly what you might be talking about. But I mean, yeah, that's cool though.
Good talk.
Yeah, I didn't really listen. I'm sorry. You can tell
me. What are you talking about?
Oh, you know what? Hey, this is this girl MK Cochran. Listen, she thinks she loves Yvonne and me, and she loves reading my blog, and I think she's in the group now, isn't she?
I don't know.
It seems like she did enter the group, because I think she did. It's MK.
Do we know if she's okay with her name being mentioned?
Yeah, because I told her I was going to mention it on this other show, and I forgot to. So I'm just sort of using yours to get that done. Thanks for being there, man.
ADHD Rewired, providing second chances to podcasters everywhere.
Man, you know what though? It just occurred to me, man. After this show, we're not even going to be done, because we got to somehow think of a name for this show. Man, that's going to take longer than a show.
I hate coming up with it. My brain freezes. I'm so bad at it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the name's important though. I think
it is important. I was thinking of just like, maybe I should just start naming the episodes like colors.
Yeah. But this
is the green episode.
Yeah, the green episode, and the fuchsia episode.
It's not even funny.
No, it's not. It's like the dry heave moment of the show right now.
Where's what do they call that thing where they they pull the comedian off the stage? It's
the hook. We're dodging the hook. Yeah, MK's in the group, which is awesome. Yeah. So okay, she got mentioned. Keep track of everybody we're mentioning, because they're going on the future favors list.
So that's what it's all about. It's it's nothing to do with, it's not about generosity. It's about what's in it for me.
Yeah, that's right. That's it's because it's like I told Alan Brown this. Oh, hey, Alan Brown. Now write him down. We just mentioned Alan Brown. But Alan Brown, I think I was talking to him, I know what it was. When I did a write-up for his videos, and I think I'd mentioned that, everybody that's out there is listening to one radio station, and that's WIIFM, What's in It for Me. And so that's where I try to broadcast. So he kind of thought that was funny and told me he was going to steal it. And I told him, well, feel free to, because I forgot who I stole it from. And once you forget, one rule of being ADHD is once you have forgotten where you have stolen something from, legitimately forgotten where you have stolen something from, it then becomes your property. That's what I keep telling myself when I know that there's a chance that I might be borrowing something from somebody and not intentionally doing it. I know I've done it. So I did just notice that I just went into iTunes, and I just hit 200 reviews. Hey, outstanding! Now, here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. So there's 160 some people in the ADHD Rewired Facebook group, right? 170. 170. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to bet that at least half of those people have not given reviews, if not more than that. Yeah, let's talk about that. And I'm sitting on 17 now. It's not my group, but I'm an integral part of that group as much as anybody. So what's up with that? I'm just going to say, if you're listening to this show and you haven't been to iTunes to give a review or a rating, hey, just continue to enjoy the show. Don't feel like you need to reciprocate. don't, I don't. Hey,
what station are you listening to?
The last thing I want is for any of you out there that are sitting under the tree of the fruitful tree that we are providing, enjoying the shade. Please don't feel the need to water it. Okay, don't feel the need to water the tree that provides you the shade of awesomeness. That's all, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's the name of the episode, The Shade of Awesomeness.
No, it's not.
No, it seemed good. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Is it? No, is it awful?
No, it's not. I don't want to say it's awful on the air, but it's awful.
Yeah, it's okay. I gotta thick skin to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the name of the show be?
Hey, I don't think we've ever talked about naming the show like during a show.
That's true.
That's another all these first time things that are happening.
And one of the other ideas that I had before we started the show,
to say that he got a job, while we're doing the show on success versus failure.
That was awesome, by the way. I was like, no way that was unplanned.
Honestly, it was not planned.
That was awesome.
I swear to God, it wasn't. I mean, me and Brett are kind of on the outs right now, and trust me, he wouldn't have done anything to help me during the show. It's just we're having a little bit of a tough time. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, so that was. The thing is, the phone kept ringing, and it never rings. And we're doing this show, it never rings during a show. This show, it rang like 3 times, and I was surprised when Yvonne said put it on speaker. And honestly,
that was awesome. By the way,
and look, let me tell you why I said put it on speaker. I'm not joking. Okay, the reason when Yvonne said put it on speaker, the only reason I did it is because I was really hoping it was going to be a bill collector. Okay, no, I really was, and I already knew exactly what I was going to say. If it was a bill collector, and I was going to, and because I thought it would have been a really cool thing to say, during the show, I was going to say, hey, listen, yeah, you're right. I have not paid that bill, but listen, right now we're doing a podcast, and that is way more important to me right now than talking to you about a bill that I'm not ever going to pay anyway. So why don't you call back tomorrow, and maybe we can talk about it then if I don't disguise my voice as my son or something like that. All right, bye-bye, and then hang up. And that's what I was going to do. But when it was Brett and then saying he got his job, I'm like, well, man, this is awesome.
and I bet that Yvonne was just like bubbling when Brett said at the very end, "Love you, Mom."
Oh yeah, that was nice, very nice.
And
she was. Oh yeah, and she was so glad that it got on the show. So
does he know? Does he know it's on the show?
Huh?
Does he know?
Oh yeah, I think I even mentioned. I said, "Hey, yeah, you're on the show. What's up? We're doing the show."
That's true. You did. It doesn't mean he was paying attention to what you said, though.
Yeah, but that was kind of a cool thing.
That was cool. That was very cool. What I was going to say though a moment ago was I told you I had an idea and I'm just going to hit record. And then I actually never went through with that idea. What I was going to ask you to do, because I know that when you were starting your podcast, you were like asking me about interviewing tips. I know that you said that was something that you were kind of struggling with a little bit. So what my idea was to have you actually interview me for the show.
What, for my show or for your
show? No, for my show.
So I would interview you.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that what we've been doing for the past hour and a half is not the show?
No, it's the show.
Okay.
This was just an afterthought of what also could have been the show.
Oh, well, I'd love to do that, man. As a matter of fact, one idea that I had for our, I don't know about our 50th, who the hell knows what I'll be want to do for our 50th show, is to actually, oh no, it's a past idea and it's already screwed up. I thought for our 000 episode, which for you non-podcasters, that just means the first episode, but would have been to have you interview us for the show, because that episode is more or less a who we are kind of a show.
Mm-hmm. I
thought it would have been a really cool thing to have had, but I didn't think about it. Yeah, but I didn't think about it until after the fact.
But the idea of the 000 show, which by the way I've never done, and still really want to, but haven't done it.
Hey, let's do that after this one.
We could, but I do have to get home at some point. We've been my wife and I have been working on some bedtime stuff with my son, who's I think I mentioned on the show before, he's like the world's worst sleeper. So we've been doing we've got some behavioral stuff going in place, and it's working, and my wife's totally on board, and it's awesome. And so we got the whole sort of star chart-ish system thing going on. He tells me he loves prizes, and that's great because that means he's sleeping, and not waking up my wife, 6 times a night. And he's 3.5, so that's got to end. So that's awesome, and so I've been going home and kind of helping out with that. But now it's 8:40 p.m. and I still have the intro to record and the outro and all this other stuff, and I still have to get it to Richard.
Don't just send it. Hey, just print it.
How do you print audio?
No, I mean, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Again, I was trying to be funny. I try to be funny often.
You're a funny guy, Eric. You crack me up, man. I mean, I mean, what people don't know is what's behind that door.
What?
Which is awesome land. So I never even heard about it, and I was blown when I thought, how is it that I never even heard about this before ever? But behind that door is awesome land.
Are you talking to my literal door or the figurative door?
The door right behind you. Isn't that where the big playground is?
Yeah, it's a therapeutic gym.
Well, man, I would love to have some therapy like that. I mean, I want to redo my whole man cave, and instead of a floor, I want
a ball pit.
A ball pit. I don't see any problem.
And the 4 layers of hammock.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you what I was going to do in my old house is I was going to build a bar and make it like a kind of a surf hut, kind of a Jamaican style kind of bar, and have like sand instead of carpet. Just put sand out there, which I think would be cool. But we had a cat. So you can, of course, imagine why, that would have not been the best situation.
Your cat probably would have liked it.
Oh, he would have loved it. He would have loved it. It would have just, the litter box bar was what we'd have to probably call it.
So how does the show end, Tom?
Well, I don't really want to do the lightning round. Have you ever not done the lightning round?
The random question round?
Yeah.
We could skip it.
All right, let's skip that.
Okay.
And which is in ADD fashion, not paradoxically. We're just, you know what? It's just like we talked about before the show, or maybe during the show. I can't remember what we said before the show or during it. We've been talking. I think at some point you just hit record, but
I hit record 1 hour and 16 minutes ago.
Where I told you that, where you said, and I'm just like thinking about all this stuff, and I just said, you know what? Screw it. So keeping in that theme, let's just skip the lightning round, because just say to hell with it, and let's just move on to say, Eric, thanks for having me as a guest.
It was a pleasure to have you.
This has been a show with no direction at all. At least at ADHD at 55 miles per hour, you were heading in a specific direction, so to speak.
Well, it's better than having, the missing the week before my 1 year anniversary. But you know what? I was sort of comforted by the fact that, you know what? Because I was almost willing to skip a week and just say screw it.
Hey, are you going to do a special show for the 1 year show? Because I have an idea for you on your 1 year special show.
No,
it's just an idea for you.
Give me the idea, but I'm going to say no. I don't want to do anything exciting. Then
I'm not going to tell you.
No, tell me.
Oh, all right. Eric swearing on the show. Woohoo! I'm going to get that little red E by the thing. No, but listen, you should get all your favorite podcasters and have just have a big roundtable discussion about nothing. Just like a meeting of the minds. You get Sean Ackerman, Kim, you get me, of course. You get Yvonne will be up here probably for me. You just get all your favorite podcasters.
Well, I was thinking about something similar to that. I mean, not necessarily for the...
You know what? Hey, every idea that either one of us has pitched the other one, we've thought of.
So, because I'm friends with a lot of people in the ADHD community, and some I'm good friends with and are great just conversationalists. I think it'd be really great to get that group of people that I've become friends with through, like Chad, like Ari Tuckman and Roberto Olavardia, blanking on. I'm so sorry. Queen of Distraction. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on your name.
Linda.
No, but
Terry
her too.
Terry Matlin.
Yes, thank you, Terry. I love you. You know, it's
Terry.
just
Put her on the list.
Yeah, she's on the awesome list. She's on the major awesome list. She
is actually. The chapter in my book about Brody Bricker. I wasn't sure if I was going to put that in there. I actually reached out and talked to her for about 20 minutes about that, and she convinced me it should be in there. So the chapter everybody reads about Brody Bricker, that's because of Terry Matlin. So thanks, Terry. Does she listen to the show?
I don't know. Maybe.
I guess we'll find out.
I bet if I tell her that we that she got she was in the hour and almost 20-minute mark of the show, she'll. That's
right. So Terry, if you heard the show, send me an instant message on Facebook. The password is moon pie. That way, so now I will know. I'll let you know if she. I'll let you know if she listened.
I just had another thought and now it's gone. I know it's still gone. Who else? So who else is in that group? I've still been trying to get Deb Rowley to come on the show. She's I don't know what her deal is. Deb, I make a talker to her now, but she's not going to listen.
She's not. And Deb, listen. Let me just say something. Let me tell you about Let me tell you what's awesome about being on a podcast is it's all about you. It's all the focus is on you, and you're the star of the show, and it's just fantastic. And Eric's such a fine host. He'll make you feel so great. Just do the show, Deb. Deb, do the show. Deb, I'm pleading with you. Do the show. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm just going to say this, Deb, and it might be hard for you to hear, but if you don't do Eric's show, you will not be on my show. And I'm going to tell you, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, you'll never work in this town again.
Oh yeah.
I love Deb. I can't believe she won't do the show. That's crazy. I think actually she told me that Tara wouldn't. Tara asked her to be on the show, and she didn't do Tara's show. So wow, whoever gets Deb on the show, it's like going to be
now keep this in mind. I actually do have an interview with her.
Who?
That we recorded sort of off the cuff at the Chad conference, but I haven't released it. I almost did one time, but I haven't.
Totally. Okay, Deb. Here it is. Either do the show or we release the audio.
I mean, it's funny because she was concerned that she wasn't going to sound professional enough because we're just chatting, and I think it was a great episode. And I shared some pretty personal stuff on that episode too. But what came in replace of that episode was the ADHD at 55 miles an hour.
Tell you, that was a good replacement.
And I was thinking, I'm looking at my the recorder now that we're at an hour and 20 minutes, and I was thinking about the people who were on episode 50 when I put myself in the hot seat about things, how much they're probably regretting giving me the green light to not worry about how long my episodes are.
Yeah. We just try to make ours 30 minutes, but if we run over or short, we just get the point across or how much time it takes.
So you're saying that you think you're better than me because you stick in the 30-minute range?
No, I just think I'm better than you because I'm Tom Nardone. I don't need to worry about how many. No, Eric, I don't think I'm better than you. I think you're better than me, Eric.
Tom, I think you're better than me.
Well, I think you're way better than me, Eric. I think you're just being, a little nice.
I think we should cue the outro music.
Yeah, let's end this. Stick a fork in this thing.
Can you do my outro for me?
Yeah, man, I would love to. Okay. Just 80. Just I don't know the whole outro. I just know the 80. Huh?
Just do your best.
All right. I'm just going to give an outro.
Don't forget to go, well.
Okay. Well, that is all the time we have. I want to thank Eric Tivers for having me, the guest, Tom Nardone, on the show. And thank all of you for listening to ADHD Rewired with Eric Tivers. And I also want to thank our sponsors, Zoom, for providing. We actually, in accordance with, we
What are you trying to say,
that's
Tom?
all I got. That's all I got. I just saying we recorded this show on Zoom. So thank you, Zoom.
Word.
Word, and see ya.
And I probably should add what I'm going to say in the intro, but I'll add it here too. Just so you guys know, the last 2 episodes I was talking about a funding campaign for Chad. So what I really don't need a lot of you to respond. What I really need is like 2 really, really wealthy people to actually donate a bunch of money to Chad, because they're in serious trouble right now, and it's pretty serious actually. I have a conference call on Tuesday with them as a leader for my local Chad chapter. They're in some serious financial trouble right now, and we need to raise a boatload of money. So if you have $100,000 that you would be willing to donate to Chad, or more, and I'm being very serious, there's probably one of you out there that actually can do that. Please, I mean, it's because right now what the possibility is, if Chad can't pay their bills, what they'll have to do is actually seize all the assets of all the local chapters, which could almost cripple Chad as an organization. And if you guys don't know how important Chad is of an organization, I mean, we wouldn't have ADHD as a eligible status for diagnosis for an IEP in schools. I mean, they've just done. You don't realize they've only been around for like 25 years, and they've done so much to advocate for our needs. So when I started to get these emails from Chad saying that they're in serious financial trouble, it's kind of scary and kind of sad. So I'm asking for a sugar daddy to help Chad. Seriously, if you can donate $50, $100, $1,000, I'm asking us to be generous. I know that some of you can't do that, and that's fine. But if they're doing this campaign of 1 of 15 million, because I am one of 15 million people in the U.S. that has ADHD. Tom is another 1 of 15 million people.
Got two of us right here.
Yep. So and we know that the importance of community. So please. Empty your pockets and donate.
Eric, they are so big. I can't believe you have to ride around with a jump truck behind you, man. That is outstanding. To ask for $100,000, man, that is awesome. So, I would, and I'm not taking anything away from the seriousness of your message.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, there are people who, there are wealthy people who like to donate, who are angel investors into organizations. And this is truly an organization that is worth making sure that we continue to have around. It's that important. If I had that kind of money, I would. I donated $100. And I do not describe myself as a wealthy person. I work hard for my money. So that's please. So donate $100,000, $500,000 if you can. I will actually give you a shout out. I will say your name on the podcast.
Yes,
you'll actually,
and I will too.
If you donate $500,000 to Chad, I will make you an official sponsor of this podcast. We'll get your name right on every single episode.
I will change the podcast to your name.
Whoa.
No, I won't. Really?
No, not. What about $1 million? For $1 million?
For $1 million, we'll call it the Tom Nardone and whatever your name is,
and a wealthy donor's name. So.
Yes, and all right, or I'll let you do all the bumpers for the rest of my shows forever. We'll come up to a reasonable arrangement.
And if for $100,000, how about this? For $100,000, Tom Nardone will agree to have accordion polka music on every intro.
and for $100,000, I will do an all science show and talk about nothing but medical and diagnosis for ADHD. And I will not make a single joke during the whole show. I will talk about nothing but the science of it. It'll a science show.
That's awesome.
Okay.
What could we get for $50,000?
For $50,000,
Tom and I will write a song for you,
and we will perform it
on both of our podcasts.
Yes. and we'll even do a live on YouTube broadcast. We will and then post it as a podcast.
Do we have to wear anything absurd or like? We have to be dressed. I'm not going to do it naked, but I would be willing to wear something absurd for. I would wear a dress for $50,000 and make a video of it.
I would wear a dress to my job at Home Depot. For $50,000, I wear a dress, not a kilt, because then I can say, well, it's a kilt. No, I'm in a dress. I'll wear a dress for the whole day until they send me home.
Tom Nardone will wash his pants after one wearing.
I will wash every item of clothing I have, fold it neatly. I will videotape the whole thing, and I will.
So what is that? What is that one? That's like a $30,000 donation.
You know what? 20.
20. Okay, 20,000.
20 for 20. All right, now let's get it in the more realistic range. Okay, so if anybody from the ADHD Rewired group donates $100 starting today, if you've already done it, tough. There's no retroactivation here. Okay, free book.
Free book?
A free book.
Which book?
My book.
I figured that's what you're saying. I just wanted to get clarification.
Yeah, my book. I'll even sign it. Not only will I sign it, if you prefer, I will put lipstick on and leave a lip imprint.
I was going to
every idea, man, every idea. I mean, I will even, well, I won't say that. But I mean, whatever you want, I will do it. And a personal phone call from me.
I will leave for $200. I will leave my voice on your home answering machine.
Yes, good one. Okay, for $500, I will give you my home phone number.
Ooh.
May call anytime you wish. Have access to this.
The hat? Or it's you?
You know what? Hey, I tell you what, for $1,000, I will do a video podcast without my hat. Oh, no, that's going to cost you. I saw that
picture of you on your front stoop without your hat. I know.
Can you believe she did that?
I was like, who's that, a homeless person? Oh, it's Tom Nardone.
Yeah, but Yvonne, that was so funny in one of the shows when Yvonne says, yeah, when people come over, people can't believe that this is the house Tom Nardone lives in. Not that we live in some big, nice house, but it's, it's not a cave or a hovel. Yeah. All right, and definitely tune in next week for the ADHD Rewired shout-out edition of the show, where we talk about all the people in the community that we do not like. all the pains in the in the butts, all of you. You're gonna be next.
That's gonna,
But you will be exempt from the list, however, for only a $500 Chad donation. That one is retroactive. So if you don't want to be on the short list of people, we recommend you donate.
There actually is a list like that.
Is there really?
And there's about 116 people on there.
Am I on it? Come on. Am I on it?
And here, so I'm looking at the Facebook group right now.
The anti-ADHD people. Like,
what's so funny is it doesn't get much more ADHD when you do the outro and then you go back into the conversation.
Oh, yeah, we did the This is our encore, the ADHD encore. Maybe, is that the name of the show?
Well, sometimes if you do like an encore edition, that's basically a fancy name for this episode's already been aired, and we're repeating it now.
We don't want to have anybody think that you would air an episode like this twice, so that's not a good name.
I would totally do it twice. I wouldn't put it past me. If I had to, I would. I've actually thought about like taking a best of.
A best of reel?
Yeah. So, but the list is so in the group we have 170 people in our Facebook community group, and I still have in the request reel 116 people. And you want to know why? Because people don't respond to my messages to them.
That is why your group is the best group, Eric. You know what? Hey, seriously. I mean, I get it. It's your show and all that. I'm already on it. No need to kiss up. I'm already here. I've already made it to the show. Second appearance on ADHD Rewired.
I think you're the first. You're the first. No, technically, you're like the third. You're a three-peat because you were on the 50th episode.
Yeah, that's right. Third time. Is that the record?
Yes, it is.
All right, Tom Nardone.
But I am having Ari Tuckman on next week.
That's okay, because you're probably going to have me on at some point after the book, and probably have Yvonne on with me.
Yes,
So that
yes.
I'm sure we'll be doing this for a while. And plus, you're going to be on my show and all that crap. But I forgot completely what I was going to say, and it felt like it was going to
something about how awesome I was.
Oh, your group.
Yeah.
Well, you're awesome too. But the group, the reason why the group is so awesome is because you do screen, you do take the time. You're not. Now, I get a lot of people. I have two groups. Okay, I don't really pay attention to my group. I thought about just giving it to somebody anyway. But
for a $2,000 donation to Chad, you can get his group.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you, for a $200 donation, I'm just going to make you an admin of the group and leave it. The ADHD people group. It could be yours for the low price of only $200 sent to Chad. So there it is. It's, I'll stay in it just because if you want. You can kick me out. If it'll be your group, so you can kick me out if you want. But
that'll be the first move.
Getting kicked out of my own group, that'd be a first. But no, I'm sure it wouldn't. But no, because you do take time, and you're not a numbers guy. I mean, if you just wanted to post the big numbers on your group isn't really about that at all. It's probably without a doubt my favorite Facebook group, and I'm in all of them. I don't, and oddly enough, and I'm not allowed to just post anything I want to there, because there are rules, but I respect your rules, and they all make sense to me, and I get it. But man, I love the interaction. I love the people that are in my group, and you're very generous. You always, you did promote me in your group and your podcast, and I think I was one of the first video introductions that you did, because, that.
Remember when I had intentions of doing that for everybody?
Yeah, because you don't ever want to say you're going to do something from now. You want to avoid the words from now on.
It's the kiss of
ADHD
death.
people should never use the phrase "from now on."
I could agree with you on that, Tom.
For the foreseeable future, we will be doing. There you go. That way, you don't have to do. You're not kind of locked into doing it.
I mean, I still think about my first episode when I talk about what the format is going to be like for all episodes. I have to edit that and change that because that's just absurd.
Yeah.
But if I go and add my 000 episode, I can actually comment about that. And then when I listen to the first episode, then it's kind of funny to see how it all evolves.
Yeah, you could just do the ADHD Rewired recap.
Yep. Should we have another thrilling 15 seconds of silence?
No.
That makes for great audio.
Do you have an alarm at your house about to go off that you need to run out and grab or anything? How are you on the alarm situation?
I think I was talking to you that one time when we were talking. I was like, "Oh crap!" I set an alarm to go home and I totally forgot.
Yeah, and I was talking about you on Justine's show. Did you listen to the show last time I was on Justine's show? You should, because I really talked good about you.
No,
don't lie.
No,
did you?
No.
Okay. But anyway, I talked a lot about you, and one of the things I told him, I said, because I even told her that, that you're kind of known as the app guy, but you don't like being known as the app guy. You like being known as the solutions guy, right?
The productivity guy.
Yeah, productivity, okay. But I said solutions, sorry.
That works too.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Anyway, and I said, what people don't understand about you, Eric, and I've come to know you personally, not just Facebook. I mean, we've talked. I mean, I don't think a week goes by that we don't have some kind of messaging going about anything. And what people, I think, and I know that you want people to know this, and it has more weight coming from someone else. And I just want people to know that, you have all these apps about how to keep this organized and how to not forget to do this and how this works and this works and this works. And I think most of the people in the ADHD Rewired group get this. But what people need to understand is that, man, you are as recklessly ADHD as anybody I know, and perhaps more so. And you would not think that of you because, you do a very very organized, professional, and polished podcast that sounds amazing. You have your sponsors, and all that makes you very credible in the community. But the truth is that behind the scenes, and I mean, case in point is the subject matter of our show tonight, which is a complete lack of preparation and on your part. But we figured it out, and hopefully it'll be a good show. It won't be any worse than, maybe it won't be the worst show probably ever, but
Richard's
anyway.
going to kill me on how long the show is.
Oh, well. Just upload it.
Yeah.
What you got enough? What do you got? 200 megabytes of. Just throttle down the bandwidth, make it work. But people, need to. It's helpful for them to understand that you do what you're able to get done on your site and on your show is and your speaking engagements is all done in spite of. A lot of it is done in spite of your challenges, but they are there. It's just, forget. I mean, you forget stuff, and I mean, I'll never forget when, you were here and you're like, oh my God, what time is it? And I told you, but we were on a different time thing, so you didn't think about that. And then like an hour later, you're like, oh crap, Tom, you're on the Eastern Standard. I said, yeah. I said, my alarm is going off right now and waking up my family. And I'm just like, oh, man. And then you said, well, the damage is done. And we just kept talking for like another hour. It's like, oh, well.
The best part, though, was I actually forgot to set it.
Oh, well, good.
And thank goodness for that. But so this week, I did something that I have not done in a really long time. So on I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I pull up, I drive to work, and I get into the parking lot, and I about to grab my stuff, and I realize that I didn't grab my lunch. So I immediately pull, the parking lot, go back home, grab my lunch, and thankfully I live I'm a 3-minute drive, so it's kind of not a big deal. Then on Thursday, I forgot my notebook and an iPad at home. So twice in 1 week, I forgot stuff at home, and I really rarely do that. So I think I mentioned I don't know if I hit record yet when I was telling you this, but I kind of had a sort of a panic attack this week, and I know my brain just kind of I need something. So look, I'm a human being. I got my brain quirks, my ADHD. It's funny because I was talking to my wife about this, how this should just be a 2-part episode. Then I can actually break it into 2 parts, and I don't have to do work for another week on this. That's a great idea.
Or you can just put this one in the can, so when this happens again, you can say, "Oh yeah, part 2," and stick it in there.
And with that side thought, I forgot where I was going with the first thought.
See what you can do about hooking that up for us, Richard.
Oh yeah, so I get anxiety sometimes, and I sort of just chalk it up to that typical ADHD overwhelm. But I hadn't really viewed myself as an anxious person, and I was kind of just thinking about it. It's I think that maybe anxiety is a bigger picture of a bigger part of kind of how I function than I was really realizing. Which is just kind of interesting to me. It's why, is that? Because I don't really judge the anxiety. Because I've practiced mindfulness, and so whenever I feel physical anxiety, I just kind of notice it and just kind of take some deep breaths, and I'm kind of okay with it. But I think it happens more than I realize. That I have no idea where it's going with that. So now there's just weird, awkward silence and
anxiety, and there's some nights that. And there's not really for any specific reason. Sometimes it is, but sometimes she just has this anxiety coming over. It's just this unaccounted for fear that really has no real basis, and it's gotten a little worse since her mother passed. But there's some nights that she'll just come up here. It might be. It's usually always happens if I'm off the next day. Luckily, what I mean is...
She gives her anxiety?
Well, no, she'll come up here and she'll be really upset. And she'll say, Tom, I just can't be by myself right now. And no matter what, but you know what? No matter what I'm doing at all, it ends. It stops. And I get with her. And that's just very important. I've never put anything in front of that. And, usually it's not a big deal. Sometimes it takes a couple hours. But generally, 20, 30 minutes, she'll just say, hey, you know what, Tom, thank you. I'm okay now. And it doesn't really make any sense to me, but it doesn't have to make any sense to me.
That's the thing.
The only thing that's important about any of it to me is that Yvonne has a need, and she's not. And if I'm the solution to that, so however that might be, then I'm always there. Always there. And that's you just have to. If you're with somebody that has an anxiety like that, you don't, it doesn't matter. You don't need to understand why, because it's not important why. The only important thing that's important is that, man, that person needs you right now. So just saying.
That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So Tom, let's try to close the show again.
All right. All right.
I was originally, we were going to do the intro too, so I didn't have to go back and add stuff to it. So maybe we'll end the recording with the intro, and then it'll just be added. So
I'm about to record the intro and the outro.
Should I just do it, and then you can fill in where my brain is completely shutting down right now. So let me get this out before I completely...
Every time we're on Zoom and I'm watching you do an intro, I know I have this feeling there's going to be 30 minutes of you laughing while you're trying to do the intro.
All right.
Let
me do the outro first.
All right.
Let me actually pull up Evernote. That's where I have my outro stuff.
Right on.
Okay, let's see.
Hey, send me the Dropbox link to this. Yvonne will want to hear it, if you can.
Sure. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can just reuse one because they're pretty similar.
Recycle it. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Let's see. I did this one on March 2nd. That was for that aired on March 2nd. That's pretty recent. I can just use that one again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Or no, I can just do it. All right. The competing impulses are battling it out right now. Tom, now you implanted the seed of not being able to do something without laughing, and now you...
I know. I shouldn't have said it.
Okay. Well, ADHD Rewired listeners, thank you for listening to another episode. Don't just be a passive listener, become an active member of our private Facebook community. Go to ADHDrewired.com and click on the Facebook group icon. We like things shiny, so help ADHD Rewired be sparkly and shiny in iTunes by leaving a rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help this show and Tom Nardone Show get featured on What's Hot in iTunes. Don't forget all the links mentioned on... Did we mention any links?
I don't think we did.
I think we did.
So I mentioned yours.
Okay, so I can probably skip that part.
Mine.
But yeah, how can people find your stuff?
They can go to ADHDpeople.net, TomNardone.net, or theTomNardoneShow.com.
And all the links to that can be found on my website at ADHDrewired.com. Thank you for being awesome. And remember, Tom Nardone is awesome. Until next time. And you know what I'm hoping happens, Tom, is that, because I've shared with people since I started my show to today, the ups and downs that I've gone through, where I'm kicking butt and productivity and getting stuff done. Yeah. And when I'm feeling stuck and overwhelmed, I've shared all of it. And so what would be interesting if I have a really long run for this show, and I really hope I do. I hope 5 years maybe. Is that a long run for podcast?
If it wasn't for me connecting with the people who listen to my show the way I do, why do it? Yeah. I mean, why do it? Why bother? I mean, if I can't, interact with everybody who listens and answer all their comments, I try to answer every single comment that's ever made for every blog post or podcast. And if a person gets to a point where they don't have time to respond to the people that listen to them, man, that's too big. I don't want to be that big. I don't want to get so large that I can't keep I don't want to be at that point, because it's just, it would be, I think I would have a lot of anxiety about the fact that, I don't want to be looked at as this amazing person high atop his tower of awesomeness above everybody. It's not at how I want things to be for me. I want people to know that I'm a real person and I think that's what makes, my show work and my blog work, man. I don't want to be that I don't want to be an icon, I want to be a real person. You get me? And I think that's really the way you are too. I think that if it got to the point where if you weren't able to connect with the people and get feedback from them, I mean, what would be the point? I'd love to see my show just run forever, man, and just be an old man with, 1,000 shows under my belt. That's exciting to think that me and Yvonne are going to, get to that point.